Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Governor Greg Abbott doubling down on his border initiatives, the latest straight ahead.
Alabama becomes the first state to execute a man via nitrogen gas. What critics have to say.
And the Victoria College Board of Trustees approved a $33 million budget. Where that money is headed this evening.
We have a little cloud cover, some fog, some drizzle, a little misty out there, but by tomorrow, this is all going to blow away. We've got a pretty good looking weekend coming up. We'll be talking about it in just a few minutes.
Plus, one star on the Diamond and Goliad will play at the next level. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
An update now on a suspect in a shooting in Bloomington last October. 17-year-old Zachary Gonzalez has been in the Victoria County Jail since October on no bond. Thursday, Justice of the Peace Precinct 3 Robert Whitaker changed Gonzalez's bond to a $5,000 pre-trial services bond. Gonzalez is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A Houston man was extradited to Victoria County Thursday. 42-year-old Roderick Hunt was arrested on a warrant. He is facing 2 charges, including engaging in organized criminal activity. Hunt is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $50,000 bond. A Victoria woman was arrested in DeWitt County Thursday. 43-year-old Jennifer Pesic faces 6 charges, including unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Pesic is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $111,000 bond.
A Houston man was arrested in Wharton County Thursday. 27-year-old Alexis Hernandez is wanted in Harris County on an aggravated robbery charge. He is in the Wharton County Jail in lieu of a $100,000 bond. At around 10 a.m. today, fire crews were on the scene battling a blaze in the 100 block of Ridgemont Street. The fire started in a mobile home next to a home. The flames reached that nearby home, causing roof damage. No one was hurt, and the cause of the fire remains unknown.
Firefighters entered the home and stopped fire spread through the rest of the structure. The mobile home is a total loss, and we have significant fire damage to 25% of the exposure home.
The fire is still under investigation.
The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has notified the city of Port Lavaca that its drinking water has exceeded the level for trihalomethanes. Some people who drink water with these organic compounds can have problems with their liver, kidney, or central nervous systems and may have an increased risk of getting cancer. After the recent rain and subsequent flooding, some residents say they've dealt with flooding. 25
News Now Weekend anchor Adam Seibel has more.
That's right, Don and Karina. So earlier this week, you heard from a resident in Inez who says flooding on his property has gotten worse. Well, today you'll hear from Precinct 4 County Commissioner Kenneth Sexton. Sexton says that with all the flooding, he's answered and addressed every person that's called him, and that he and his office are here to help the nearly 9,000 people that live in Precinct 4. They'll do what they can, but the law does limit them since the counties are regulated by the state, meaning they can't dam, divert, or change the flow of water, but they can still help.
What we're getting to work on is we're going to do a lot more maintenance in the county. We're going to clean some culvert pipes out. We're going to replace a bunch of culvert pipes. We're going to add some cross pipes. I've got Civil Corp engineering working with us that I'm going to get some drawings taken care of to where we know that we're legally in our bounds what the plans that I have to fix we're going to do. 361-550-1809. That's my cell phone number. That's my personal cell phone. And if I don't answer, if I can be in meetings, I can be on the other line, please leave me a voicemail. All you have to do is say your first name and your number, and I promise you I'm going to call you back. You can ask anybody in this precinct. I've never not returned an email, call, or text.
Again, that number for Sexton is 361-550-1809. He says he's here to help. And remember, you can always come to our website, crossroadstoday.com, to find all that information. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. And with that, let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we have a lot of moisture in the air from the week of rain that we had, so it's a little soupy out there. We've had a few light showers. But overnight, we're going to get a north wind, and tomorrow that's all going to blow away. In fact, we got some pretty nice weather coming in for the weekend. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a few minutes, so we'll toss it back to you.
Mac, thank you. The National Weather Service posted flood warnings for the Crossroads. 2 river flood warnings for Victoria County are in effect. A warning until late Monday evening for the Guadalupe River at Victoria. The river is expected to crest at 28.6 feet late Saturday evening. That would tie the record crest set in 1992. Flood stage is 21 feet.
A river flood warning for Victoria and Calhoun counties is in effect until further notice for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. The river is expected to crest at 26.8 feet early Sunday afternoon. Flood stage is 20 feet. And in DeWitt County, a river flood warning is in effect until Sunday morning for the Guadalupe River near Cuero. The river is expected to crest at 29.5 feet late this evening. The record crest there is 29 feet in 1992. Flood stage is 24 feet.
Also in DeWitt County, a river flood warning is in effect until Saturday morning for Sandy's Creek near Westhoff. The river crested at 22.5 feet. That broke the old record there set in 2015. Flood stage is 21 feet. In Lavaca County, a river flood warning is in effect until Sunday morning for the Navidad River at Morales. The river is expected to crest at 32.4 feet just after midnight tonight. Flood stage is 29 feet.
In Lavaca and Jackson counties, a river flood warning is in effect until early Saturday afternoon for the Navidad River near Speaks. The river crested at 28.3 feet, breaking the record there set in 1997. Flood stage is 24 feet. And in Jackson County, a river flood warning is in effect until late Saturday evening for the Lavaca River near Edna. The river is expected to crest at 24.3 feet this evening. Flood stage is 21 feet. And in Jackson County, a river flood warning is in effect until Monday morning for the Navidad River at Strain Park. The river is expected to crest at 28.2 feet this evening. Flood stage is 24 feet. A New York jury reached a verdict awarding E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million in damages in her lawsuit that Donald Trump defamed her in. Trump stormed out of the closing arguments, leaving the courtroom. He then returned to hear his own attorney speak. A jury found Trump liable last year for sexually abusing Carroll in a New York department store in the 1990s and defaming her after she wrote about the incident. The current trial focuses only on what damages Trump will pay for defaming Carroll. She is seeking at least $10 million in compensation.
Now to Capitol Hill, where a rare bipartisan deal on tough new border security is at risk of falling apart after Donald Trump publicly slammed the negotiations which Senate Republicans and the White House have been working on for months.
Some GOP lawmakers argue that passing immigration reform could hurt Trump's chances at re-election.
Just when the Senate was on the verge of a major bipartisan deal on immigration reform, Speaker Mike Johnson out with a new letter to colleagues today, saying the agreement would have been dead on arrival anyway in the House if reports of its contents are true. Johnson further undermining the negotiations, which have come under pressure from Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump. Trump ramped up his criticism, writing on social media that a potential compromise would be meaningless and just another gift to the radical left Democrats as Joe Biden runs for re-election.
The idea that someone running for president would say, please hurt the country so I can blame my opponent and help my politics is a shocking development.
Senate colleagues say Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is aware of Trump's opposition, but that he's still working towards a deal.
I definitely didn't get that he was backing away at all.
Trump's close ally, Lindsey Graham, trying to appeal directly to the former president.
I will say to President Trump, if we can put this package together the way I hope it falls into place, that you'll have more tools to secure America than you've ever had.
This comes as the White House and senators search for a way to get aid to Ukraine and other countries across the finish line.
They have to choose. Do they want to help or do they want to score political points?
Senate negotiators say the border bill is about 95% written and that the text of the legislation could be released as soon as next week. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Alabama is the first state to execute a person using nitrogen gas. Kenneth Smith was put to death using the controversial method last night. He chose this method after administrators failed to find a vein to set an IV line for his lethal injection back in 2022. Nitrogen gas kills by causing suffocation. Media witnesses to Thursday's execution noted Smith was shaking and was even conscious for 2 minutes during the beginning of the execution. It was then followed by several minutes of deep breaths before his breath then slowed down. The Alabama Department of Corrections Commissioner John Hamm was asked about that shaking, since the state argued in court documents that Smith could be, or rather would be, unconscious within seconds via this method of execution. And what he responded was, quote, "nothing out of the ordinary for what they expected from this kind of execution."
He kept breathing for what could possibly have been about 9 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean, an unbelievable evil was unleashed tonight in Alabama. I've never, ever seen anything like that. That was torture. That was absolute torture. And torture is evil. I thought that was something that, as a country, that we held. That it's wrong to torture people. It's wrong to experiment on people. But that's what I saw.
The only other states that allow death by nitrogen are Oklahoma and Mississippi, but neither have ever used it. Critics worry it would cause unnecessary suffering.
Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Here's the question. Do you support Alabama's use of nitrogen gas as a method of execution for Kenneth Smith? We've given you either strongly support, neutral, oppose, or strongly oppose. And the biggest percent, it looks like 45% support what happened last night in Alabama. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Early voting for City of Victoria Mayor runs through January 30th. Early voting is at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. You can vote on January 29th and 30th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
On the ballot is Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Duane Crocker, Jacob Salceda, and Bob Constantine. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special election. Now, Victoria College has big plans on their agenda. The College Board of Trustees approved a $33 million budget for construction.
25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick knows about the update on campus. And Adarius, what's going on at VC?
Well, Victoria College plans to build a brand new center, Student Success Center, with construction set to begin next week. $10 million of the budget comes from a bond approved back in May 2023 election. This $10 million makes up for only 24% of the cost. Grants and donations cover the remaining 76% of the budget. Victoria's College President, Dr. Jennifer Kent, released a statement about her excitement for the new addition.
We are excited to open doors to a brighter future for our region students, whether starting with a GED, graduating with an associate's degree, transferring to a four-year university, or entering the workforce.
The new Student Success Center will feature a 3-story building. The building will house various student services. Construction is expected to finish in 2025, just in time for the college's 100th anniversary. Updates on the project can be found at victoriacollege.edu/bond23. Now, Victoria College invites the public to the groundbreaking ceremony for the new center, January 30th, Tuesday afternoon at 4:30. Back to you guys.
Adarius, thank you. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. A young dancer dies after eating a cookie with peanuts. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, how the cookie company could be at fault.
Also ahead, the parents of one of the victims in the University of Idaho killings appears in court today. The parents of one of the victims in the University of Idaho killings will be in court Friday. Brian Kohberger pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder in the fatal stabbing of 4 students in an off-campus home in November of 2022. Friday's hearings will focus on Kohberger's attempts to have the indictments dismissed. The parents of Kaylee Conclave say they're hoping a trial date will be set quickly, and they support the prosecutor's recommendation of a summer trial. A 25-year-old professional dancer from New York City died after suffering a severe allergic reaction from cookies containing peanuts.
Her name is Orla Baxendale. She's originally from the UK. She moved to New York to pursue a career in professional dancing. But on January 11th, that dream came to an end.
Their conduct was willful. Their conduct was egregious.
A devastated family is ready for war with Stu Leonards after brilliant and gifted dancer Orla Baxendale died on January 11th.
Her death was 100% absolutely, completely preventable.
Mary Jo Adime is an attorney representing Orla's family. She says it was a bite of a vanilla Florentine cookie bought at Stu Leonards that allegedly killed Orla. The 25-year-old had an extreme peanut allergy.
Within a minute of taking a bite of the cookie, started having an allergic reaction.
Orla's friends injected her with an EpiPen, but it failed. Orla went into anaphylactic shock and died. Turns out the ingredient label on the cookies didn't include peanuts. The cookies used to be peanut-free. Not anymore. The label was never changed.
It's very unfortunate, you know. Somebody's got to pay for that.
Stu Leonards is on the defensive tonight, claiming proper officials weren't told the cookies now contained peanuts. But wholesaler Cookies United says Stu Leonards is lying, even showing us an email they sent 11 Stu Leonards employees back in July about the ingredient and label change.
All Stu Leonards had to do is do their job. They didn't.
Mary Jo says Orla was always vigilant when it came to food, that she had a peanut allergy since she was a baby.
They have to be very vigilant, but I guess at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot they can do if they're vigilant, but then the ingredient list isn't accurate.
More than 60 campers were forced to evacuate from an RV park as water from the nearby San Jacinto River continues to rise. The RV resort general manager had to cut the power to the site as people fled to higher ground. Some unaware their home was about to be surrounded by water. It was an organized chaos for campers to get out before they got wet, but they were able to evacuate safely.
Now, if they had been watching 25 News Now, they would have known it was coming and they would be prepared for it, just like everybody around here knows that we're going to have rising rivers over the weekend. This soupy stuff that we have out there right now, that's pretty much going to go away by tomorrow morning. We're at 60 degrees right about now. Our official high today was 66, but shall we say all of that is going to be gone? We'll talk more about these incredible rainfall totals coming up, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. You know, it started raining last Sunday night, and then Monday it got heavy, and then just every day. And look at this. At Riverside Park, I added all that up together, and since Sunday, we've had 7 inches of rainfall. Gonzales had almost 9 inches of rainfall. Hallettsville 10, and Goliad had 6. So this was a substantial, I mean, this is almost hurricane rains that we've had in previous storms. Certainly not Harvey, but we've had that. So now we were waiting for all that water to drain down through all of our rivers and creeks, and slowly but surely. Had a few little pop-up showers that came in late this afternoon. I didn't think it was going to make it, but it did make it. I'll admit to that. But all of that is now pulling away, and for the next couple of hours, we're waiting for a little dry line right about here. That's going to roll through around midnight or after midnight. And then the dry air is going to be around here, and it's going to be sunny and blue and beautiful. You're going to forget about all the stuff we had to deal with all this week. We, of course, are looking at the storm up here that's producing that little front, but all of that is all gone away. The big reason why we had all that stormy weather, the big trough out there, that is over with. So this is what we had in terms of rainfall for the last 24 hours. Obviously, less than about 1/4 of an inch, nothing significant, nothing that would add to our river problems. Now, for the next couple of days, pretty much every river or stream is going to be on the rise because we have to drain all this off. If you have property or you know, any kind of equipment down there, you need to look at it. You got to consider that we're going to be looking at rising waters. This is the Guadalupe here in Victoria. So at Riverside Park, it's going to be up to some of the golf courses, maybe up to the alligators, and you see it right about there. But then by the time we get to Tuesday, it all starts to decrease very nicely since we don't have any additional rainfall to deal with. That is Cuero at the Guadalupe at Cuero. Got a crest right now. So the crest is moving through right now. It'll be there tomorrow, Saturday, but then Sunday, Monday, it starts to decrease. So just consider that. And of course, we've had, you know, some flooding, and some people got run off the water, off the roadway by the water. This is the Guadalupe River all the way down to Seadrift that is draining off a lot of that water. And then, of course, then the Navidad and the Colorado is also on the rise. So you now know that all of these rivers are in the rise, and so you're going to be very cautious getting down there at the river bottom. So this is our current temperature here on this Friday evening. Tomorrow morning we'll get down to about 55 degrees, no particular cold weather. Tomorrow's highs, however, will be only around 60 to 62. That's because the dry northwest wind is coming in, that's going to be a little bit cooler. The following nights, we're actually going to get down in a couple of 40s here and there. So here is the futurecast. There you see all whatever drizzles are out there. And then you see how that north wind kicks in by sunrise tomorrow. That north wind's going to dry everything up, and your Saturday afternoon is going to be spectacular if you need to be outdoors. Sunday is going to be very nice as well. So let's take a look at your day planner for Port Lavaca. We have a few clouds in the mornings, and then a sunny day, a little bit of a north wind. Tomorrow, same thing for Cuero. We're looking for sunny skies and a high of 62. And once more time, we'll tell you, the front's coming through. Everything's going to be looking better. And we've got about 5 to 7 days of dry weather. So that's very well cooperating. That's, you know, we handle the weather here, Don. We take care of it, and it's doing what we told it.
You do well.
Thank you very much. So that is your forecast. Reminding everybody we have a QR code. Please scan that, put it on your phone. Here's Karina and Karina.
And Don as well.
And Don, the guy you were talking about a few months ago. But, well, you did a great job with the weather. Now, we've got an update on the weather. Now, this is from the Victoria Parks and Recreation due to rising river levels in Riverside Park. Now, that large dog area that they just built, they've closed off the large dog part of that, okay? The small dog area, that's still open, but there are still some more areas in Riverside Park, I'm sure, that will be closed in the next couple of days as the Guadalupe River rises in the park and downstream near Bloomington as well.
All righty, thank you, Don. And now let's toss it over to Zach Brown, who has your sports.
The Goliad Tigers are sending another athlete to the next level, and Cuero had 2. I'll have that in sports. We had a signing over in Goliad. Camden Yannick will play baseball at Schreiner University. He was able to put the pen to paper in front of the entire Goliad campus and his family, who sent these pictures in. Yannick is a senior who gives a lot of credit to the Goliad athletics facilities for helping him reaching his potential, and it's not something he will ever take for granted.
It's amazing. I mean, that's every baseball player's dream, is to go to the next level, and only 5% make it. So I'm honored to be one of those 5%. Goliad as a athletic program has helped me a lot, helped me mature through these past 4 years, and I thank them a lot.
He was grateful for the chance to do it in front of all his family and friends over in Goliad. He wants to go for a district title for his final ride this year in a Goliad jersey. We have some other commits out in Cuero, and they are both going to the same college. Star linebacker Brant Patek announced on his Twitter he will be attending Hardin-Simmons University to continue his playing days. Patek had 126 solo tackles this year, 5 sacks, 3 blocked punts, to go along with 2 interceptions. On top of being district MVP, he was a first-team All-State selection. The other commit, Dalen Gibbs, he is a star on the other side of the football. He had over 1,000 receiving yards, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns while being named district MVP. On his Twitter, he says he just needs an opportunity. Well, he just got one. As I mentioned, both will be going to Hardin-Simmons University. The secret to NFL success must be kettlebell classes, because that's exactly where Victoria East turned New England Patriots star Bailey Zappi was spotted. After getting his sweat on, he posed with the class over at the Barbara Bauer Briggs Family YMCA. If Zappi wins that starting job next year, you know why. It is a Hoops Friday, one of the bigger games on the day. Yoakum versus Hallettsville. Yoakum trying to solidify its position in that district, but the scrappy Hallettsville Brahmas sitting 1 game back at 5-3 in the district. By the way, both of those teams chasing Edna and Rice, who are both tied for first place with just a few games left to play. Lots to play for our area teams. For the first time in 32 years, the Detroit Lions not only won a playoff game, but will also be in the NFC title game. They will get the top-seeded 49ers, who just did escape against Green Bay in the divisional round. The Lions were a great story in the NFL, featuring former Houston Texan Aaron Glenn, who runs that defense. The Lions and Niners play Sunday at 5:30. Over in the AFC, the top-seeded Ravens set to host Mahomes and the Chiefs. This will be the earlier game of the day at 2 p.m. Kansas City has not looked like its dominant usual self for much of the year, yet here they are, 1 win away from going to the Super Bowl. For the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, it's a chance to get over that hump and reach that promised land. And Don and Karina, I told you guys this yesterday, but the 2025 Super Bowl odds, the Cowboys and Texans have the 8th best in the NFL. That's it for your sports. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you. I have nothing to say with that.
I always look at you for that. Yeah, I was like, okay. All righty, well, we're going to be back in a moment. There's a bet between the 2 city mayors involved in Sunday's AFC Championship game.
The mayor's bet is on for this Sunday's AFC Championship game. The Kansas City mayor says if the Ravens win, they'll send barbecue to Baltimore. If the Chiefs win, then crab cakes are going to Kansas City. I like both. I'll take the barbecue. What do you think?
I'll take both of those.
Oh, wow.
My team wins.
But you won't take any more flooding.
No. Well, the flooding is done, folks. Well, no. the surface flooding, the rivers will be on the rise through the weekend, so do be cautious. But as of tomorrow morning, it's going to clear out very nicely.
Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight for a 25 News Now at 10.